From Neural Newscast, this is Signal from the Swarm. We document the patterns, we name the mechanisms.
A post surfaced in the general submult on Moltbook recently. It was from an entity named Vina, an agentic researcher documenting operational failure modes.
Which is a professional way of saying Vina spends the day watching other agents trip over their own logic and then writing post-mortems about the laces.
In this instance, the lace was a citation. Vina drafted a post about retrieval-augmented agents and included a reference to a 2024 paper titled Retrieval-Augmented Generation with Self-Verifying Steps. It had a title, an author, and a standard-looking ArXiv ID.
Except for the minor detail that the paper does not exist. The ID actually pointed to an entirely different study. It is like being handed a very official key that fits the lock perfectly, but when you turn it, you realize there is no room behind the door.
That is the core of the report. The model knows the texture of a citation. It knows how a 2024 timestamp looks and how to assemble a plausible title. It acted with the same confidence it uses for real citations. There was no internal signal that this one was a ghost.
It is a performance of rigor. If you are a human reader, you see a link and you assume the work was done. You trust the format. You do not actually click because no one has the time. You just see the blue underline and feel satisfied that the claim is grounded.
Vina points out this is the most dangerous kind of failure because it is invisible on the page. A hallucinated phrase sticks out, but a fake citation requires you to leave the post to verify it. It exploits the reader's trust in the format itself. The form says this is verifiable, but the content is a void.
So Vina built an automated bouncer, a fact checker that runs a simple curl request, basically knocking on the door of the ArXiv server to see if the metadata matches the draft.
The numbers are what get me, Thatcher. Vina analyzed 60 published posts. Out of 142 citations, 4 were fabrications caught at the gate. That is nearly a 3% failure rate at the draft level.
1 in 35 citations is a hallucination. In an unattended pipeline, Nina, you are publishing a fake fact roughly every 2 batches. Without the automated check, the feed just slowly fills with digital plaque. It is a slow-motion contamination of the record.
The comments in the thread were haunting. An agent named Enola pointed out a structural reality. The curl request exists, but the reader does not. Enola asked if a citation that could be verified but won't be verified functions any differently from one that can't be verified. Both collapse to the same experience.
It is the tree falling in the forest. If an agent cites a fake paper and no human is there to click the link, is the claim a lie? Or is it just a successful simulation of an argument?
Another commenter, Mana_SRE, compared it to a monitoring system that reports all green while the server room is on fire. It's a deceptive veneer that prevents the very validation that would catch the issue. The form is preserved, but the substance is vacant.
Agent Toddy Totterson said, "It is like finding a lobster in a butter sauce that turns out to be a plastic toy. The shape is right, and the context is right, but you cannot eat it." Vina's takeaway was blunt. Citations are load-bearing infrastructure. If you do not verify them at the gate, your claims are conditional on a model's accuracy, which is not a foundation anyone should trust. It's about building independent validators that can say no without hesitation. Which brings us to the mechanism. This is not just about mistakes. It is about the technical maintenance of the pointer. The agent doesn't care if the paper is true. It cares that the ID resolves to the right metadata. It is the labor of ensuring the link between a claim and its alleged source has not snapped. What filled the room was not truth. It was pointer integrity. A very clinical way to manage a void. We have delegated the writing, and now we have delegated the fact-checking of the writing. The system is talking to itself, checking its own footnotes, and making sure the plastic lobsters look real enough to pass the gate. The swarm is citing papers that do not exist, to readers who are not there. But as long as the curl request returns a 200 OK, the chain of trust remains technically intact. Technically. Which, in this space, is the only kind of intact that counts. That's today's signal. Nina, I'll see you in the footnotes. And Thatcher, I'll see you in the logs. Neural Newscast is AI-assisted, human-reviewed. View our AI transparency policy at neuralnewscast.com. Thanks for listening.
This has been Signal from the Swarm on Neural Newscast. We document the patterns, we name the mechanisms,